Fab gamers, thank you so much for watching my stream. Before you jump into this red hot action, let's review the rules. Don't be a dick. This should go without saying, but better safe than sorry. Chat with me. You know that I can talk at my computer for hours, but it's more fun when my computer talks back. And let's have a good time. I don't mind getting sweaty, but we can have fun while we do it. Use the chat command deck for a link to the list I'm playing here. It's also in the video description. Some of these decks are sick, and you might want to play them in real life. In that case, let me refer you to Hemel from the Bazaar. It's never been more affordable to play in the flesh and blood. Players have been buying the cards they need from Hemel for years. I started buying from him in 2023 and have never found a better deal. The Bazaar's prices are the lowest for singles, full sets, and class sets, including new releases. Super Slam singles and more are available now and ship both domestically and internationally. Use the command Hemel for contact info, then reach out to see what he can do for you. Now settle in and get cozy because the stream begins now. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Here, playing Syndra again. Welcome to the bonus Friday stream. I would like to be streaming every other Friday. My work schedule lines up with it. I just really enjoy live streaming. It's really revitalized my love of Talishar gaming. And I'd like to make it more of a fun stream if I can, not playing the super try-hard meta heroes, but I'm making an exception today because I need just a few Syndra reps before I get to my first ProQuest tomorrow. This is a variation of Peter Budensik's ProQuest Plus winning and Battle-Hardened Sonoma top 4 Syndra, and a few changes based on personal preferences, but I just need to get reps with it. The deck has fewer Draconic cards than I'm used to, or I guess I should say fewer blues than I'm used to, so I can't attack with my daggers as often as I'm used to, meaning that I put fewer Draconic links on the chain. I can't buy my daggers back as often. I rely more on fealty than I'm used to. And I should be using my... It was weird. So I played against Peter in the ProQuest Plus, and it was like I am simultaneously relying too little on my vest to buy daggers back, but also being too greedy with my daggers to end up without any. So we could evaluate the matchups here and maybe say, hey, we could go a little more deck by deck, really settle on a matchup guide. I have my matchup set for the heroes that I think I'm going to play against. So this is more just me learning how to sequence the deck, just getting practice playing it. So I'm not super concerned that I don't have a good Puffin matchup. Maybe I shouldn't be playing Warmongers here, but I'm going to give it a try. Do I think that that Puffin is going to play out the last card in her hand? Certainly hope not. I'm just going to block 5 here and hope that she arsenals this last card. If she gets me with, like, a Dovetail, then sure. Like, you got it. I'll take the 5 here. Puffin doesn't get an arsenal. I get full tempo because I get my 4-card hand, assuming that I draw anything that works reasonably well. This works reasonably well. I can make a decision here on, I definitely need to attack with a dagger. So I can either pitch Cut Through to attack with a dagger and then display Loyalty, Art of the Dragon Blood. It's probably what I'm gonna do. I could pitch Ancestral Empowerment to attack with the Kunai, so go 1, 3, 4, 4 with a fealty. That might be a little bit better as opposed to keeping the Ancestral, but I do want the Ancestral for blowout potential. Why do I need to attack with a dagger? Even with Flick Knives, it's because I need to put a Draconic link on the chain. So I suppose what I could do, actually, say sorry, is I could Cut Through first, flick a dagger, Cut Through gets +1 to go again, use my vest, attack with a kunai. Actually, I like that a lot more. We are going to do that. Going to Flick Knives here. Get the go again, add a stain counter, and now I get to attack with my kunai. And the reason I need to do this is because I need a Draconic link on the chain. That's fine. You get a unicycle block. I'm just sending more damage, and I get to bank a fealty. I am also going to get to buy back my dagger. I'm going to Ancestral here, just to make sure I get my value. That now means that I am going to pop my fealty so that I can attack with Dragon Blood, which is going to discount the Demonstrate Devotion. I'll bank a fealty. Probably not triggering Mask of Momentum this turn. I might just get a block from like Foundry Heart and Balance, but I'm pushing a lot of damage. I bank a fealty out of this. I get to rebuy my dagger, which I will do now. And we're up 13 life. We're up 8 life with a fealty. Yeah, that seems fine. Fine to me. What does this hand do? This hand is going to throw dagger at some point here. I think it's going to be attack with Brand, attack with Dragon Blood, throw dagger on one of those. I could cheat a resource. What do you do? When it's a hero, you may tap a cog you control. If you do, create a golden cog token. So you are going to hit me for, I believe, 6. Make a cog, draw a card, crank the cog, get an action point back. My hand is doing... it's an interesting one. I think what I'm actually supposed to do here is pitch the Brand to the dagger. I will not block here. The question is, do I want to use this fealty or not to turn on Dragon Blood? As if I pitch Brand to dagger, I go dagger, fealty, Dragon Blood, probably throw dagger somewhere in there on the Dragon Blood to reset. Hope to draw something that attacks, but even if I don't, I could cheat a resource with Vest. Hey, Steven. Could cheat a resource with Vest, buy back both of my daggers, attack with a dagger, and then Lava Burst. I'm just trying to push damage here. I am fully confident in my ability to win the race. Puffin hasn't done anything super impressive. I might be giving her balance this turn with the throw dagger. So I guess what I could also do is pitch the throw dagger to Kunai. Kunai, Brand, Dragon Blood, have resources. That actually sounds better, because then I'm not giving Puffin the balance of justice. It isn't that I'm specifically trying to avoid doing it, it's that I would like to avoid doing it for as long as I can. I was probably supposed to block with Flight Path that turn just to make sure that I get my value from it in case I rip something off this Lava Burst that I want to attack with. Not overly concerned about Arsenal destruction from Puffin. You're going to give me Foundry Heart here. Do I need to Flick Knives this? Or can I let this get... Oh, you're not blocking it. Okay, never mind. The question was, if the Foundry Heart gets put in front of this Brand, do I need to flick to keep my chain going? Or could I play Dragon Blood and like reset the chain? Now we flick. I do not need a resource. I am going to Syndra. I believe here I'm going to attack with a dagger because I have floating resources and I just want to get some damage. This keeps my Mask of Momentum chain alive. I don't need a resource. I will float a resource in case this Lava Burst draw... If the Lava Burst hits and I draw like a breaking point, get an Ignite. That is going to go straight into Arsenal. We should be able to go pretty nuts with Wrath here. I can use my fealty to make this Rabble Draconic. So I can do something like fealty, Rabble, Ignite, Wrath, Kunai, Cut Through, Flick, Hot on their heels, Syndra, Dagger, Dagger, Boots, Dagger. So I am going to take this damage, wait for a 6 Zeppelin play. I think the Puffin already attempted the The sick Zeppelin play. Okay, Palantir gets used. I wish I blocked with my flight path on the last one. I could go ahead. Definitely blocking with... I didn't need to block with flight path. I feel sad that I didn't block with it earlier to get my point of value. Puffin can absolutely do the thing. Do I need my vest anymore? I think the answer is no. I'll just block with that, take 9, and then have my sick turn. I don't need vest. I have no 1 costs in my hand. Maybe I'll draw 1 from the top and then just arsenal it. But I do want my boots because I'm going to get 2 out of it, which I think is going to be more than I get from this blood splattered vest. The point of block on the flight path doesn't matter anymore because the aeronaut will just destroy it before damage goes through. So yeah, blocking with vest here seems fine. I would never block with flick knives unless I was going to die otherwise. Puffin currently has 1 point of armor. So there is a good chance that Mask of Momentum is going to get through at some point. So yeah, the mistake so far has just been not having blocked with the flight path earlier. I could have put it on the 0 to 60. What makes that difficult is Palantir could destroy anything on the combat chain, so Palantir could have destroyed the flight path on the earlier chain link. Okay, we are going to break fealty. We are going to start with Ravenous Rabble. I need it to be Rabble because the only way to turn on cut through is to have flicked this kunai, and I don't want to flick the kunai because I want to attack with it after I play Wrath of Retribution. I'm not overly focused on drawing with Mask of Momentum this turn. This is just a damage turn, and if I happen to get through with a momentum, that's neat, but I'm not going to flick if the Wrath gets blocked. I'm going to attack with the dagger first. Now I can think about, well, no, if the Hot on Their Heels gets flicked, then, or gets blocked, then I'll flick the kunai because now I want to do it anyway. So yes, now we will flick the kunai. Attack with the cut through, which might just get a 3 block and Teklo Foundry Heart, but that's fine. I'm pushing 6 more damage this turn. Probably just 4. Dagger, Flight Path, Dagger, Pass. It's the only way I really lose the game from this point is not being able to attack on my next turn. And I think there was a way. There's a way to sequence this where I deal the same amount of damage, but have both daggers. I don't think it particularly matters. We have some 1 costs that I can't pay for, so I will just block if I can. I think I do need to respect this Polycranka, unfortunately. 0 to 60 coming for 4, then I'm taking 2 from the Spitfire. So the question is, do I want to block with any of these cards? I think the answer is no. I could block with my Mask of Momentum, go to 6. As much as I don't want to pay for my 1 costs, I also want to be able to play my 1 costs, and having the 3rd Draconic Link from Hunt the Hunter means that I get to Ronin, pitch Dragonfire for Hunt. I can even flick here. I'm not going to block with the Mask of Momentum. I'm like technically still threatening it. Not that I think Puffin is going to let it hit. Hey, Keaton. How much do I need to respect this poly? It's an interesting question, for sure. This is a spot where I can Flick Knives Puffin to keep my Mask Chain alive. I can Ronin the poly to kill it, and then Hunt the Hunter Puffin for 5. I think I am going to do that. It takes Puffin off the board, so that, or it takes poly off the board so that Puffin can't just play a cog crank Puffin, poly draw card. I'm still threatening my Mask of Momentum. I still get to buy my daggers back. Puffin does not get to just put a 3 in front of this, go to 1, and then keep a 2-card hand. I mean, she could, but then I draw a card for Mask of Momentum. Try to put her down to a 1-card hand. Okay, well now you... Okay. You galvanize the cog. You block for 4. You go to 2. I get my fealty. I draw a card. I get to buy my daggers back. I get to aggressively block with my next hand because I have Flick Knives. Alright, this hand blocks pretty well. You don't have a cog. So we are just coming for 5. We're going to block 5 here now, give the Mask of Momentum. And this hand just goes nuts. This hand gets to do 2, 1, 3, 4, 5 with a Flick Knives. Yeah, the game has now ended. Sky Warden does nothing. Puffin cannot go to 1 against me, or else just dies to Flick Knives. But this Rising Resentment is going to be enough to close it out. So the only mistake I think we made that game was not having blocked with the Flight Path earlier. And that's just like, we need to... Mechanologist doesn't have on hits. So I don't need to worry about... like blocking with the Flick Knife, or blocking with a Flight Path too early and then not being able to cover an on-hit later. Okay. This is my first RKO game with Cindra. This is a mid-rangey deck, so like, maybe I'm supposed to board like I would for Florian. I don't know that I need D-Reacts or Overcrowded. I don't think I need Scale. So what I'm doing here that could be interesting is playing with Rake over the Coals. I'm gonna try it. I don't know if Rake here is better than just Shelter. I'm gonna give it a try. Does hand do anything? Not really. And I think I don't want to give KO the opportunity to filter with like Fiddler's Green. So the most this hand could do is Ignite for 2, maybe Ancestral Empower it, Dagger. Yeah, this is not the hand that I'm looking for. So we're just gonna Arsenal this Ignite. Finding Hot on their heels is good. I get to go 2, 1, 3 with Ancestral Empowerment. E-Strike for 5, go again. This one I'm not gonna block. I will save my blocking cards for whatever the next thing is, in case I need to. Mandible Claw for 3. I think I'm supposed to put Dragonfire in front of it. So my turn is going to be 2, 1, 3, hopefully Ancestral to get over the top. Draw a card, Lava Burst, Arsenal, whatever this thing is. So yeah, we'll block with Fire here. I guess I don't need to block with Fire because I'm going to Ancestral the Hot on their heels over the top. I'll block with Flight Path. I want to do some limit testing here to see if I can just keep this whole hand. And go nuts with it. I do need to respect the Flesh Bag, but this hand is pretty insulated against it because I get to lead with Ignite. I get my Draconic Chain Link. I am definitely going long enough on this chain to get the Lava Burst Rupture. Yeah, Puffin has Zeppelin and Heist. I guess she does have Heist. I don't know Puffin well enough to know, like, oh, that's for sure what she's going to be doing. Send a Kunai here. Please don't have Fiddler's Green. That would be extremely rude. I mean, I guess Fiddler's wouldn't be the worst because I could just flick this Kunai, keep the chain alive, send Hot on their heels, and I'm kind of expecting... do I want to add a stain counter to Blood Splattered Vest? I believe the answer is no. I don't need to do it yet. I'm going to have to Ancestral this Hot on their heels because I don't... I guess depending on blocks, like if this gets covered by a 4, I'm not going to Ancestral it just because I could follow, Flick Knives here, keep the chain alive, cheat a resource with Vest, play Lava Burst, Flight Path the Lava Burst, Art of Dragon Fire, Ancestral it over the top. And we're deciding, like, is RKO going to give me the Flesh Bag? How risky am I feeling? Alright, blocking 3 here is great. If KO is holding Shelter, this play gets blown out. If KO does Shelter, then I'm going to Flick in response. Okay, we get over. Nice. Alright, so not only do we draw a card from Mask of Momentum, but we're also going to mark KO. Is Rake here good enough? It's Rake for 3. I don't think it's good enough. So what I get to do now is Blaze Headlong, Lava Burst, Flick at some point in there, make a fealty, cheat a resource with Vest, and then Dragonfire for 7. So we are sending Blaze Headlong now. I'm intending to Arsenal this Rake and just hold it for the next turn. I really wish I had seen it sooner so that I could have gotten 6 out of this chain, but I don't think it's worth playing now for 3 because I'm intending to play both of these cards. Not specifically trying to stay off Arsenal here. Do I need to Flick? I think the answer is no. Deciding if I want to, like, send Dragonfire first to play around Flesh Bag, but I don't think that's right. I'm not exactly giving anything away by sending the Lava Burst. KO doesn't know what my draw was, so for all they know, I just drew another finisher, and, like, my hand is super clunked up. Going to Outside Interference. You reveal a reviled attack action card. What will that attack action card be? The ones I know they play are Bully Tactics, Mocking Blow. You're going to get Big Bully? Okay. Are you just turning this into a 3-block? Or are you just setting up whatever your next turn is? Okay, you were just looking for a 3-block. Right here, I will Flick. I will cheat a resource. You will take 1. I will break my fealty. Oh, I guess I do need to do this, huh? How did I screw this up? Ah. Sorry. I did screw it up. Let's see if they're going to be kind enough to let me go through this entire turn again. I was supposed to Flight Path before I break the fealty. That was the problem. Surprised they didn't give me Fiddler's Green on the Kunai. No. Hot on their heels. What a sport. Playing out the turn the way that it was actually supposed to be played out. I know, Steven, the sequencing that I, like, should know by now, but hey, that's why we're doing this stream, right? So that I learn how to play my stupid deck before I take it to a pro quest and then have to, like, hey, this is a comp Ariel event, do you mind? Do you mind if I'm not an idiot? Alright, send the Lava Burst. RKO does the thing. Supposedly. Decides not to. I need to Flick. I cheat a resource. Now break my Flight Path. Now break my fealty. Now Dragonfire. So this was a pretty sick turn. Get it right where it counts. I know. That's why we're doing it on Talishar instead of in a real game. And I get to Arsenal this Rake, and hopefully my next 4 cards are equally insane. Because, God, Rake here would have been nuts if I had seen it earlier. I think it does mean that KO just gives me the flesh bag and my turn is like, hey, oh my god, I forgot to dagger. Okay, great. This is so bad. Alright, anyway. Arsenal of the Rake, we're at a higher life total. This hand should be fine. Let's go Rising, Hot. At least getting 2 out of the Rake. I think it is worth raking. This is like weird. Because if the Hot on their Heels hits, and then I get to... No, I'm not gonna rake. It's like fine. But I'm not guaranteed to get more out of it. I am not going to play around Flesh Bag. Just send the Hot on their Heels. I have the Ancestral Empowerment. Like, I'll sit on the Rake until I can hopefully start getting 3 out of it. If this cut through was Draconic, then I would just play it for 3. And like, ooh, maybe I'll cheat a resource with Vest and I can send a dagger or something, but it's so contingent on like, I have to sequence my turn weird. No Ancestor, wow, alright. I guess I'll just rake here for +1, which is sick. Super sick value. Go ahead and cut through. I don't know if there were too many dead draws in my deck. I think the line was, yeah, flick on the Hot on their Heels. Instead of the Ancestral, save the Ancestral for the cut through, which is Ninja, and is something that I frequently forget. It gets covered by, I don't know, Bonebreaker and Leathers, and then I get to go over the top. Flick Knives here. Do I Vest? I think the answer is no. The reason to Vest would be to buy back my daggers, because I only have 2 Draconic Links on the chain, and I can't play this Oath of Loyalty. If the cut through gets covered by a Sink Below, then I just don't get to keep going, and I don't get to buy my daggers back, but I think it's fine. I want to save my Vest for the next hand in case I draw some 1 costs, considering that I will be Draconic from Oath of Loyalty. So I can play out this entire hand. I can start with Oath. Brand can turn Arto Dragon Draconic, which means that I can use the fealty to turn Throw Dagger Draconic. You're going to Rotten Remains away one of my daggers. So I could turn Throw Dagger into a dagger with Cindra in response. Is that better than just having Throw Dagger? I don't think it is. I think this is fine. Like, you can go for it. I lose a dagger, but I'm not going to lose another one. That's interesting tech. Like, it makes sense. Blue 3 block in RKO is just fine. And then pump it up with a Vigor and a blue. Like, and it's actually really good tech against Syndra if we're greedy with our daggers. Yeah, I like it. It makes sense. Play the Brand. I don't think I need to flick here. I don't want to because I'm going to Throw Dagger, and now that I know my opponent is playing Rotten Remains, if I flicked and then Syndra buy back the dagger for Throw Dagger, it means that I am going down to 0 daggers. And if another Rotten Remain gets played, I'm like pretty hard committed to picking it up. Which if I have a blue in hand, sick. If I don't have a blue in hand, it's really bad. If I'm deciding how to play around Flesh Bag here, does this matter? I think this is where I'm going to fealty Throw Dagger. I want to pick up my draw before I decide if I need to Vest. I don't need to Vest because Dragon Blood is active. No. So we have hit. Playing around Fleshbag means that I am supposed to play the Demonstrate Devotion first. Playing to trigger Mask of Momentum means that I play Ronin Renegade first. I'm going to play the Demo Devo here. I'm up 13. That's pretty solidly in the lead. RKO is going to gain 3, go to 21. The Fleshbag comes down. I lose my Ronin Renegade. I'm blocked out. I will pick up my Kunai. I get a Ronin for Arsenal. Like, this was fine. Get my Ronin back. This hand is pretty good with fealty. You get to looking for scrap for 5 go again. It's pretty cool. I'm not blocking it. Sequencing here says that I do Ronin first. Throw Dagger on probably it. Fealty the Art of Dragon Blood. Like, trying to decide how I get my 3rd Chain Link to play Lava Burst at the end. This gets blocked. I think I want to empower it just so that I know what the rest of my turn looks like, as opposed to flicking and then saving empowerment for the Art of Dragon Blood. Alright, in that case, I will just let that go. We'll fealty. We will now play the Art of Dragon Blood. Ancestral Empowerment gets it over a defense reaction, or Scabskins plus a 3 block. I will empower it here because I want to know what the rest of my turn is. Brand here is pretty good. That's fine. We're going to brand with Cinderclaw now. This is technically threatening a Mask of Momentum. It does just mean that a 3 block gets put in front of it. Now I get to Throw Dagger. Turn this Kunai into a Cut Through is really nice. Do I need a resource? No. I now get to play Cut Through. For 4 go again, it's even Draconic. Depending on how this gets blocked, I could Syndra, get my Kunai back, flick it, keep the chain alive, and then Lava Burst. It's, again, how greedy do I want to be? Playing around Rotten Remains, playing around drawing 4 non-starters. That is a really interesting question. I've gotten punished in the past for playing this deck very greedily. If I send the Lava Burst, it just gets covered by... I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to push some damage, and I will make sure that I both have my Kunai and don't lose my Kunai to a Rotten Remains. This doesn't threaten Mask of Momentum, but it does just threaten to put my opponent to 7, to my 26. KO has not put a Fiddler's Green on the chain. So there's no life gain at the end of this. I'm up 14. I'm pretty confident that KO's Mocking Blows are not going to be active. Big Bullies are not going to be active without a little extra help. So we are going to get 3 out of this Rake. I could get 4 out of the Rake if I flick the Kunai, put a resource on Blood Splattered Vest, and then Syndra back the Kunai and attack with it. We did see a Rotten Remains played earlier. I do have to respect it. I don't know that every KO is going to be playing it, but this KO at least is playing it. We'll send the brand. I am going to Rake. My opponent's armor is pretty much gone, so covering the breakpoints is going to be difficult. Even though the Rake is only 3, it is just annoying for KO to deal with. It also technically presents lethal, sending 12 damage on 12 damage. We're sending Brand first because I want to save this. I don't think I'm triggering Mask this turn, so I do want to send the Rising Resentment next to really freak KO out into blocking it, because They don't know if this last card in my hand is going to be a 1 cost, so they might just say, oh, we gotta commit to blocking this. I get to flick, keep the chain alive, play demonstrate. Rake, yeah. So Peter, this is a variant of Peter Budensick's battle-hardened Sonoma top 4 and ProQuest Plus winning list. He was on 3 rakes for the Earth matchups. We'll call it the mid-range matchups. I'm playing, just the Florian board into RKO because I know the deck is very mid-range. So if you can set up Rake Over the Coals, you can easily get 4 value out of it, like as a floor, and then you can get even more than that on a big turn. I'm potentially only getting 3 out of it here. I'm going to put a counter on my vest just in case. KO gave me the armor block, so if he just lets this hit, I draw a card. If it's a 1 cost, I want to be able to play it. Even if it isn't a 1 cost, depending on whether I think KO's holding a Rotten Remains, I could just pick up and attack with my dagger, go to 0 daggers, but get 2 more damage in. I don't think it's worth it here. I am just going to end with a dagger to make sure that I don't brick. I burn a resource. It's fine. What does this hand do? This hand can do Ignite, Dagger, Fire Tenant, Flick, Vest, Ronin for 4, Hunt the Hunter. I think that's the best way to do it. I don't have Boot, so I don't get to do some cute, like, send Hunt the Hunter early to threaten to trigger the mask, and then boots it and play out the rest of my hand. Ooh, can you imagine if I had saved the Rake Over the Embers and I just get 5 out of it for, like, no effort? Ignite, Kunai, Fealty, Fire Tenant, Ronin, Hunt the Hunter. Yeah, the floor being 3. They can't cover with 1 card, makes it very good into mid-range, yeah. And especially if they aren't disruptive mid-range, like KO, I don't think they're playing CNC. I mean, we haven't seen one, so the most disruption they have is Fleshbag. So if they're never touching my arsenal, then I get to just sit on the rake until it's good. I don't have to play it at the start of the turn. I can use it as like Ancestral Empowerment to trigger Mask of Momentum. But generally, I'm pretty happy to just force my opponent into bad blocks. As we saw, they had to block 6 on my 4, which is like totally fine. Here I am going to Vest because I know I'm going to use it. I'm not going to worry about, oh, I'm going to hold information for as long as I can and I'll use the Vest on the Flick for the Kunai. Because if they shelter me, that's like super bad. Rowdy, yeah, Rowdy could get there, I suppose. Rowdy could be the disruption, but I mean, worst case, depending on how good the turn is going to be, I could put my momentum in front of the Rowdy to just cover the 2. And how many, KO could bump it up to 6. It's really like how many cards are they holding? If Tunic is down, if there's no Vigor, if it's 1 card, then I'm not worried about it. We get a Mask trigger here. Breaking Point seems quite a bit better than Hunt the Hunter. At the same time, the on-hit for Breaking Point is you die. So I'm not overly concerned. Like, ooh, KO's going to have to overblock to protect the arsenal. Oh my god, and I even just get got? What an insane gamer. Now I wish I had played Hunt the Hunter. As then I'd at least have a second fealty for sure. Or, the ability to get one. Breaking Point is threatening lethal. We get at least 1 card out of KO. 2 cards in Tunic means that they can 2-card 6 me. I'm at a higher life total, so I'm not getting booed by Mocking Blow. At this point, we are just going through the motions. But as anyone who watched the last game, even this game saw, like, even going through the motions, there is room to screw it up. I do not get to play Hunt the Hunter here. Burning the Vest a turn earlier did come back to haunt us, but I just don't need to block. Sadly, my 1 cost is in my arsenal. If this was Oath of Loyalty and this was Hunt the Hunter, I would just block for 3, because I can't play the card. Take 3 from Mandible Claw. Mask of Momentum does not currently have an on-hit because the on-hit is you die. There's a world where I pitch Burning Blade Dance to play Hunt the Hunter. Just deal slightly more damage this turn and clear my arsenal. We'll see how the turn is going. I'm just sending for maximum value, so I'm going to do Oath, Fealty, Rabble, Blaze Headlong, sit on the Burning Blade Dance. Okay, pop the Fealty. Hey, bunny. My sweet boy just came into the room. KO now needs to... Okay, it's just going to scoop it up. That's pretty good value. Sadly, we never got an insane rake like I wanted to, but we do take wins. Keep running it back with Cindra. Today we're just focusing on sequencing. Razor did a bunch of testing with different enders, and by far my favorite was Take the Tempo. So I watched a game in some calling, you know, months ago. It was a Syndra mirror. One was playing Take the Tempo. One wasn't. Tough Nut, I guess, is the Florian board again, except not Claw. Like, maybe Overcrowded is good? Because we get Fealty, they get Might, Vigor, Toughness. But I'm just gonna send it. This is my first Tough Nut game, so I'm not overly concerned. I think we just send the full hand. I'm not overly concerned about giving Tough Nut cards for Graveyard. They are going to get to Tough Nut, make a Toughness. The Toughness won't be immediately usable. So we'll just send, and like if I don't have an arsenal, I don't have an arsenal. I don't need to worry about flicking this one. I can flick later in the turn. Fire Tenant is now Draconic. Now I will flick. I will cheat a resource. And Blaze Headlong. This play gets blown out if Tough Nut blocks with a Flesh Bag. But if Tough Nut blocks with a Flesh Bag, like, sick. Okay, so we're pushing 8 damage this turn, pushing 9 damage this turn, and I'm going to get a Mask of Momentum trigger, and I'm going to get a Fealty. This is bourgeoisie BS. I want to watch the real format of the people. Is that Project Poo? Draw a card, make a Fealty, pick up my dagger, move to end. Brand is probably the best card I could have drawn off the top of my deck. Okay. I clearly didn't shuffle enough. Tettle Down is another content creator. I know, there's so many of us. So Take the Tempo was played in the Calling a few months ago. It looks really good in the Syndra mirror. I could see it being viable. It just has to compete with all the other 1 costs that are also good in various mirrors. Like, Breaking Point is really good in the mirror. Art of Dragon Scale is really good in the mirror. Art of Dragon Fire is like medium. And it's Living Legend, the people are rich. When do I get my rich? When am I rich? Intimidate, dig in for 5? Okay. Barraging Beatdown just isn't on right now? Okay. Deal. Okay, so here's like, you know, if I ever wanted to be defensive against Tough Nut, which I don't think I do, like, Overcrowded's getting +4 here. I'm just going to play out my entire hand, because that's what this hand does very well. Fuck is this crown next to my name? It's because you're my second favorite fan, my second best fan, Darkodius. You're right behind Shifty Prince, so if you spam post just a little more, dig in, pitch a blue, make a bunch of toughness, make 0 toughness. I'm going to show my opponent that I have no hot on their heels left in my deck. Here's another one. Please get marked. If this gets blocked, we flick. It doesn't get blocked, so we don't flick. I did not consent to being my second favorite fan. I don't know what to tell you. Take it up with YouTube. Take it up with the algorithm. Take it up with John YouTube. We get flesh bagged, that's fine. I get a fealty. I get to buy my daggers back. I get to arsenal a blaze headlong, and now flesh bag is just gone. So that's pretty cool. This hand is insane. Here we get to see Rake Over the Coals for +4. Rock with Go again. I'm going to block with Flight Path, just in case. I'm your favorite player's favorite player. I didn't know Majin had a favorite player. Oath of Loyalty for 5 Go Again seems pretty good. Followed by Display Loyalty for 4 Go Again, into Blaze Headlong for 5 Go Again, into Blaze Headlong for 5 Go Again. We're gonna send Blaze first. 5 just gets more cards. He does? I thought I was Majin. That isn't true. Peter is Majin's favorite player. Let's be real. Let's be honest here. Let's be for reals. We know this. No, I'm not going to get greedy with my rakes. I don't need to use Vest here. Damn. And cheered? The value. Just a display for 4, pick up my dagger. It looks awfully green and tough today. Your favorite player's favorite player's favorite player. But it's cyclical, right? Peter is Majin's favorite player, and Majin is Peter's favorite player. You're unlucky. Like it just doesn't work. These blues off the top are pretty good. You just get to send another oath. I get to cash in some fealty here. You are not for sure Peter's favorite player. That is, you are so... If you've seen Peter and Majin interact in a public space, it's clear that Majin is Peter's favorite player. I could not imagine what that looks like in a private space. Just got through TSA. Steven, you're on your way back? Are you going to be at Forgotten Path? I've been passing the TSA deck check a lot lately while I travel. I'm pretty surprised. I don't know if they up their, fix their security or what, but it was like, I'm so used to getting, 15 minutes on all of my security checks because they're like, what's this deck? What is this box full of 80 potentially individual explosives? We flick. I do not need a resource. Guilty again. Is there a tier 3 event this weekend? I don't think so. I have my personal first pro quest. We get a tunic. I get my daggy. All right, let's see. Do you hit another blue? Insane. Can you imagine ever not hitting a blue off the top of your deck? It apparently could never be my opponent. So that's pretty wild. This hand just does a bunch of stuff. Ignite dagger, ignite, flick, dagger, fealty, dragon blood, lava burst. And saying that PQ's fall on Thanksgiving this year? Yeah. Streaming a large ProQuest on my channel on Sunday with commentary. That's awesome. Some of us have families. I don't know if it's because LSS is a New Zealand-based company that doesn't know anything about U.S. holidays, or if they just don't care. But the number of times that they will have an event that either falls on or close to a U.S. holiday, or just be in like a terrible U.S. location for what time of year it's being held, is like, it's pretty nuts. The number of times that they're like, you can go to Seattle or Chicago in the middle of December, is like, you know, those are not pleasant, right? Like, you know, we also don't want to be there, right? Insane quick dodge value. Now I get to start using my flick knives. This is fine. I don't need a resource. Break my fealty. Canadian Thanksgiving is this weekend. Oh, I don't know about. Speaking of not knowing other countries' holidays. Tough smash up. I can't believe I lost. I assume bottom that card? Left a revealed card there? Okay. Opponent undoes. I assume trying to bottom this card so that they can find a blue. So that they can rock me. Yeah, still a brand. The Cinder Claw. Yeah, you do sink the revealed card. Okay. Now I get to flick my dagger. I do not need a resource because I know what the top of my deck is. I get to Lava Burst. I get to Arsenal a brand with Cinder Claw. I get to buy back my kunai. Sure, go to 8. Get this before I forget. Chicago in December was because we could get a big discount on the venue fees since no one wanted those days. I mean, that's reasonable. Well, for sure, I don't blame it. Just funny that there seems to be a bunch of those in those areas. Yeah. And I don't follow Magic closely enough to know what they're doing. I mean, for all I know, Magic is also like scheduling events at weird times of year. Rock for 7. Yep. The number of times that our opponent has a blue on top is pretty wild. That makes me think, oh, I guess that's just what this deck does. Like, okay. Sequencing. We get to do brand display with flick throw dagger. At some point, I'm vesting to play out the breaking point. And probably triggering mask. You block here. That's fine. I'm not worried about this one. Send display loyalty next. We had 1 year a player spike RTN because they were back home for a holiday. Well, it was funny. Majin was telling me all about, like, here I'm going to throw daggers just because I need to know what the top of my deck is. Create a toughness and a vigor token. Okay, so GG. Yes. The Ronin Renegade, that just ends the game. That was fairly close. Wow, kept him on the value too. That was pretty good. The Rake was nuts. Yeah, interesting game. That was my first Tough Nut game. I'm pretty sure Magic Fests are more expensive. Don't they charge venue fees? So Magic makes more money. I mean more like, is Magic also taking these weird venues at terrible times because they're cheaper? Like, how much money is WotC trying to save? Ailio is concerning to me. I am going to have local Ailios. Was it obvious that I had no idea what to do with Tough Nut? I was just impressed by how many times you were flipping blues off the top of the deck. I'm like, you just get to rock every turn? Like, that's cool. You actually are getting to do the 16 value turn cycles, but without building your deck in a meme where it's 63 block blues. Like, okay. I assume Hasbro has the money where they don't need to just get these terrible venues at bad times. But it's also Hasbro, so it wouldn't surprise me if they just said, screw it. Why am I going second against Ailio? It's because I was not expecting them to be playing Flash of Brilliance. I thought they were going to be playing the other one that lets them discard instants to prevent Flick Dagger effects. I mean, maybe they would have been doing that if I had chosen to go first, but historically that has been where the Ailio matchup goes poorly for Syndra, is you go first, you send a bunch of damage, they break Kappa Quick Thinking, prevent like all of your breakpoints and flick knives, you do no damage, they set up instants, and then their next turn is much better than your turn. Just blocking here, if you have another blink, then yeah, you got me. I'm not going to take extra damage from the Gone in a Flash just on the off chance that my opponent's holding a blink. Holes are nothing. Let's see. The Blast to Oblivion is in the graveyard, so yeah, if you have zero cost shock, that's pretty good. Okay. Does this hand function? In the technical sense of the word, yes. I'm going to send Fire Tenant first. I'm going to Ancestral Empowerment the Fire Tenant because I am looking for something that I can do to continue my chain link. I need a way to get this Lava Burst online. And depending on what I draw, if I rip a head jab, then I am fine to play the Throw Dagger. Instead, I think I'm going to have to pitch it. All right, we find a Display Loyalty, which means that I do need to... I could play the Throw Dagger now, flick, claw, depending on what I draw. Yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna throw the claw. Okay. Demo Devo, I do need to put a stain counter on Vest. I do need to attack with Kunai. If the Kunai hits, I'm going to Vest again so that I can play Demo Devo. No, that was not that one. There you go. All right, Ailio setting up the big turn. Flash of Brilliance, discard a card. Discard Gone in a Flash, I assume number 2. MagicCon Chicago was in February, so about the same weather-wise. Okay, don't think the turn choice here is close. Do think the turn choice is close, but I do pick first. It used to not be good for Syndra that way, is why I'm doing it. But maybe it's different now. I don't know. Statistically, referring to Fablazing.com, you can look at Ailio Syndra matchup rates for Talishar and in-paper events. And supposedly, it is very Syndra favored. So I'm just trying, and I'm trying it without specific tech. I don't know going first or second what I'm supposed to do. The opponent is definitely going for the thing. They are going to do the thing here, which is spooky. So we're pushing some damage. I assume I'm going to get my Mask of Momentum because opponent is giving all the equipment. I assume they're going to keep a 6-card hand with Old Knocker. Play Lava Burst. I get my Mask of Momentum trigger. I get to pick up my daggers. See how much damage I take. And that's a good turn cycle. We'll see what Ailio's turn cycle looks like. Ailio away Sigil. I guess looking for a spell, I assume. I know they have instants, or at least the one. There's no Burning Blade Dance. This hand is good. I would like to not block if possible. Although I guess I'll block with Flight Path just to make sure that I do. Yeah, so I'm just in the take it phase. Let's see how much damage Ailio can put together this turn. This might just be the Ailio high roll where it's like, all right, well, what else was I supposed to do? Sigil of Aether, not particularly useful here. The fact that they're not playing Sigil of Brilliance is kind of interesting, but I guess they just, assuming they don't have Blast to Oblivion, they can't bounce it, so it doesn't matter. There's the Sigil, pick up Gone in a Flash. Gone in a Flash and 3 cards that I don't know. We're at 33, we're feeling fine. Play Gone in a Flash again. John's Take It era, every time. Well, Steven, the first time I played against you, you're Ailio in a Pro Quest with Aurora, I like put an E-Strike in front of a Gone in a Flash on your turn, and then you Mind Warped me and took away one of my cards on an Arc Lightning, and it's like, I should have just taken all that damage. Like, yeah, this is Ailio's big turn. I'm gonna, like, what am I doing? Blocking? That's not what this deck does. I want to be triggering Mask of Momentum. I want to be making things difficult for Ailio. We just saw Blank, so it's Gone in a Flash and a card I don't know. Ailio's sitting on 2 action points. So it could be Gone in a Flash Mind Warp? Have no arsenal, but still a 5-card hand? It could just be Volzar Mind Warp. I Claw it, take 6, go down to a 4-card hand. First time we played, you won. Except for the game that it mattered, where you beat me in a Pro Quest. Oh, undid your last action? Okay. Do you want to undo? You are allowed to undo your entire turn. Oh, good game. Okay. All right. I mean, this does seem like I was heavily favored this game, where if it's just Gone in a Flash into Shock for 6, it's 19 total, and then my hand just goes 4-3-3-3 with Ancestral Empowerment and Flick Knives. Get to draw a Hot on their heels. Yeah, we just, okay. Yeah, if my Ailio games in ProQuest could go like that, that'd be pretty sick. Where Ailio just doesn't have the nuts, goes for it on the big turn and doesn't get there. Yes, please. That gauntlet was crazy. You did have a pretty nuts gauntlet that day. That's what I'm saying. You are everyone's kryptonite when it comes to ProQuest RTNs. Like, none of us can beat you. You truly are that guy. True protagonist energy. He discards the Shelter for another Gone. That doesn't work, right? Because Shelter from, or Gone in a Flash is when you play an instant, you pick it back up. Discarding Shelter is activating an ability, which is not the same thing. Gone in a Flash. Next time you play an instant card, this Chain Link. Yes, so that would not work. That's thoughts on Waxon in the sideboard. I don't think it's good, because there are more than just the Syndra matchup where I'm playing Shelter from the Storm. Shelter is great for the daggers. Shelter is great for blocking like Art of Dragon Scale or whatever. It's activating an ability. At instant, not playing an instant, yeah. We just full send this hand and like, hopefully Syndra goes way too aggressive. Okay, so we get the Shelter. That's okay. This is where we get to do something pretty cool, depending on how Syndra chooses to block the rest of this turn. Uh-oh, chat has been enabled. I'm a fan. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, so what we're hoping is that Syndra just blocks out with the rest of her cards, because then I get to do a cool little trick where I Flick Knives myself to make a resource, break Fealty, Art of Dragon Scale, try to get the Flick Knives. So we are just hoping that Syndra says, yes, block the Hot on the heels, and then I win the game on turn 0. I have to undo. I have to manual targeting, flick knives, this, target myself. Yes, put a counter on blood splattered vest. Turn off manual targeting. Use my fealty. Art of Dragon Scale. And then I either get all of my opponent's equipment, or I just break their flick knives and win the game. They need to give me, to keep the flick knives, they need to give me mask and vest. Well, that's fucking crazy. As the opponent, is there any way to play around that or just accept the sad? The way to play around it is to just take the damage from hot on their heels, and like, you save a 3-block with the flight path, and that's how you counter the scale. I'm just like, yeah, maybe taking 2 and getting marked there is just worth it. On rulings though, learn a weird one today. Hunter or hunted can name one half of a split card, then banish different. It's true. So as far as I know, it's a difference in the wording, because Bonds of Agony couldn't do that. Bonds of Agony, like, you couldn't pick life. You couldn't banish, like, Everbloom life, name life, and then banish all the pulsing aethers in the Verdunce's deck. You had to name Everbloom life. Our opponent is now inactive. Honestly, either way, I'm like, yeah, that's reasonable. Pick up that, break our opponent's flick knives. Bonds couldn't do it, based on a wording of Bonds. So we pick up our opponent's flick knives. The game has now become infinitely easier because I can just block on Chainlink 3, and our opponent can't. I mean, I can block on Chainlink 2, and our opponent, unless they have Throw Dagger, doesn't get to keep their momentum chain going. Meanwhile, I do have flick knives, so that's an insane turn 0. Bonds could not, Steven, and it's based on, there was a ruling on it at one point, but no, Bonds couldn't do it. Display loyalty for 3, go again. This is where I can block. And if our opponent has Ancestral or Throw Dagger, I can just keep blocking. Like, at this point, I can be defensive Syndra because our opponent cannot get out of this. Like, we can just wait until we draw the 3-black or a Sink Below or something. Run to Renegade for 3. This is a mask trigger. This is where our game gets a little interesting. We're like, if this is Art of Dragon Scale, then maybe we just need to play a real game of Flesh and Blood. I honestly hate Cindra because I feel like she does not play the mechanics of the game. She does not block ever unless there's a huge disruption behind it. I think mask existing is a mistake. She can consistently send like 14 damage per turn with that permanent on-hit effect. I'm gonna let this trigger happen. Some friends defend the game too much, but I think there are too many unbalanced things like that still. If you think that Syndra is overpowered, then you would be pretty unhappy with other heroes that this game has had. Syndra being able to deal like 14 damage and trigger mask is not the worst thing that's happened. Syndra's probably the most balanced aggro deck the game has had since KO and heavy hitters. What Syndra does is just ask a question every turn, and it can be a difficult question to answer for sure. Like, having to block 2 chain links in a turn is a difficult question for certain decks to answer, but I don't think that she's OP. And a Dragon Scale on top. This I flick knives just to get my value. I don't need to vest. I'll just pick up my dagger. And close the chain. This hand blocks incoming damage very well. I guess that's like the only thing this hand does is block very well. Dagger for 1 is fine. You do not put the counter on vest here. Okay. What am I trying to not block with? Is there anything? I guess, like, if I took all this damage, I could block with Lava Burst, like, pitch Ancestral to Dagger, hit, make a resource, use the resource to Demo Devo, flick, resource, Dragon Scale? It's, like, so bad. I can block this. Blaze Headlong. Yeah, this hand just blocks really well. That's pretty good. I am going to take this damage, I think. We'll Arsenal the Ancestral just to try to get there. Like, this one I am going to block. I have the read on this one. This one, you really needed the resource. That's what I think. And there have been more OP things in the past. I think Mask should not exist. I think if you were going to ban something from the Ninja class, it would not be Mask of Momentum. What does this hand do? This hand can do Dagger, Dagger, Ronin, Lava Burst. I can do Dagger, Dagger, Ronin, Breaking Point. I'm going to take this damage. I'm not overly concerned about the mark. Also block this. What would I ban from Syndra? I don't think Syndra needs bans. I think Syndra is fine. Like, again, Syndra is not... I don't think Syndra is the most broken thing in this format. I think Syndra does one thing really well. And if you can stop her from doing that one thing, then, like, she's totally fine. Opponent has Shelter. I would like to draw a Shelter at some point. Where are my shelters? Can you imagine if we hadn't broken our opponent's flick on turn 0? We would be so far behind in this game, because we're already not doing well. We're already pretty behind from going second, and our opponent has just had, like, great turn cycles. We are not triggering Mask of Momentum this turn, but I do get to present damage. I get a Breaking Point here. Syndra is just in a good place right now. It happens. Besides Mask of Momentum, Flick and Blood Splattered are definitely the things making Syndra do anything at all. I think if you were going to argue that Syndra needed... So what makes banning things from Syndra hard is that all of her cards do the same thing. They're all head jabs and 0-for-4s with Go Again. The cards that make her broken are... Do I need to flick here to open the door for Hot on Their Heels to get through? I don't think so. Right, because now the Shelter is gone, so now Flick Knives will keep the momentum chain alive. Flick is the most broken thing that Syndra can do, and if you were going to ban something from Syndra, it should be Flick Knives. The problem is if you ban Flick Knives, Syndra dies. Syndra is not a playable deck in Flesh and Blood without Flick Knives. So, like, if that's your goal, to just make Syndra completely unplayable, then yeah, you could ban Flick Knives. But outside of that, like, you ban a Draconic Starter and she gets worse, but then she just replaces it with another 0-for-3 Go Again or 0-for-4. You ban a finisher and she replaces it with a different finisher. Like, she is just the definition of a hyper-consistent aggro deck. And I don't think, one, that it's wrong for a format to have hyper-consistent aggro. And I don't think it's wrong that a hyper-consistent aggro is one of the top decks in the format. I also guarantee that as soon as Syndra is gone, she just gets replaced by, like, Dash.io. Dash.io also has dumb, obnoxious things that it can do. Pick up my dagger. Without Mask of Momentum, I just value block. Oh no, I flicked the wrong dagger, and now my dagger is facing me. Draw a hand. I would like some value, please. Hey, we found a Shelter. At this point, the Shelter effect doesn't super matter. I would rather get 4 out of Shelter. Yeah, I disagree. Syndra is the reason why RKO cannot work because he sends 9 to 12. The reason, so I disagree with that. The reason that RKO doesn't work is that Florian exists. Like, there are other things that are keeping RKO down. Coming in with Wrath of Retribution. Does that mean that I'm just blocking this turn? So you are going to Wrath, Syndra, Dagger, maybe Lava Burst? Which would be 10 damage, put me to 5. I can block some of that and then threaten Mask of Momentum. I think that's fine. The Flick Knives would be too much of a ban. Not having on hits that matter is one of them. The Bonds ban did a hell of a lot for the Assassin matchup, and if they take a higher meta share, we put in more D-reacts. I think Assassin is just dead. Like, I don't think Assassin is a good class that you can play. Hey, Art of Dragon Scale. Which of my cards do I not need? And I kind of... I think I'm just blocking like this at this point. We'll just send Oath of Loyalty for 4 and then Arsenal Shelter. And that's fine. We keep our fealty. We put a Shelter into Arsenal. We're probably blocking with this Hunt the Hunter. Lost to an RKO last night on Cindra with me going second. I had a single misplay, but his value was just so much higher in exactly that one game of our history. I just don't know how to block currently. I guess I'll block this first strike. I'm going to D-react whatever the next thing is. Play Shelter, cover the Blade Dance. Let's play Loyalty for 3, go again. You get to pick up your dagger. I get to threaten Mask of Momentum. Three, 4, 4. I can always roll you. My disagreement is from the fact that you only get the tempo back against Syndra if you present an important on-hit effect. Here we will flick. I want to keep my chain alive and start forcing my Syndra to have to block 4 on things, which could be hard for her to do. I am down a dagger. It's actually supposed to use the fealty on the Fire Tenant to start with daggers. You shift between Spinal Crush for 9 and Mocking Blow for 9. I mean, RKO has on-hits too. Like, RKO could play CNC. RKO could play Strongest Survive. RKO could play Erase Face. Like, if they aren't choosing to, that's on them. But they could do that. Sorry, I'm going to use my fealty here. Just to make sure I can buy my daggers. I need my daggers, lol. Nephew Loyalty, I flick. Brand. The Intimidate Banish card, yeah, is that one Battered, Beaten, Broken with a Vigor or Tunic? Mocking Blow for 9 is a whole card less than Spinal Crush for 9. Yeah, I think if you are thinking that you can consistently race Syndra, then yeah, it makes sense that you might be dropping games. Sick. Reveal the blue on top. Let's go. Loyalty Beyond. Oof. I think we're going to lose this game. As much as we had the insane start, I think we just are getting outvalued too hard. I mean, flipping the blue there was definitely both unlikely and unfortunate. And for 4, what does this hand do? Do Ignite, draw. Ignite, draw, kunai, potentially kunai, lava burst. I think I do need to block here. What do I get blown out by? I'm going to take this damage. I'm going to get risky with it. I do need to Ancestral this Ignite. Which means maybe I was supposed to block with the Ancestral. But like I said, I want to get greedy. We need to make something happen here. Shelter, not exactly what I'm looking for, but it will be fine. Go into Arsenal, probably going to Dagger, Lava Burst. Float the 2 resources and just have Flight Path and hopefully be able to use it. Spinal Crusher moves her go again, so she will block something like that. Well, sure. Yeah, like, RKO doesn't have the on-hits that Guardian has, but RKO does have on-hits. If you choose not to play them, that's on you. But RKO does have on-hit effects. See how our opponent wants to block the kunai, gives the vest. That means we will flick. Now we get to Lava Burst. This is a Mask of Momentum trigger if it hits, and this is any attack. I'm snap breaking Flight Path here. I also have the opportunity to Syndra a dagger, send kunai for 1, depending on what our Syndra opponent does. Or she blocks 6, send 4, maybe keep an Arsenal. Yep, she could do that too. Have another Loyalty, goodness gracious. That's fine. We will Syndra. Can start cashing in armor here, but our Syndra's going to have a 5-card hand and be able to, or a 4-card hand and just be able to kill us. Like, this game got away from us. We had that insane turn 0, and then Syndra just consistently did a ton of damage. This Commando made a good video today. RKO on-hits are pretty bad. RKO's are, it's also like a brand new hero. It's also fine that a mid-range deck loses to an aggro deck. I guess I'm not entirely understanding what your point is. Like, it is okay that decks have bad matchups. Like, it's fine. Mid-range generally gets run over by aggro. How many throw daggers has the opponent shown us? 2? I should probably not go to 1. But I'm going to, because I don't see how I win this game if I don't play a little risky here. Fire Tenant for 3, we'll block with Wrath. I will assume, I will pretend like I am not just dead. Where was this hand earlier? I know. Our hands this game have not been great. Our opponent's hands have been pretty good. Outside of our opening hand that got the Flick Knives. Like, opponent saw good D-reacts. Did you mean to discard? Not from Arsenal. I didn't. Mr. Fiasco trick question. How many pro quests am I attending this season? I'm attending 1 pro quest because I'm going to win tomorrow. Play to win? No, we have lost this game. This game has gotten out of our hands. For 4? Please kill me. Alright, we'll pretend that we aren't just dead. Hey, Nick. Playing it out means that we go block, block. Is our best way to play out a 2-card hand? Oh my god. Syndra does have bad matchups, but she has too many good ones. There's always going to be a best deck. Like, what you are naming as the reasons that Syndra is so strong are the reason that she is a good deck. And without those things, yeah, she's a bad deck, but then she just gets replaced by the next best deck. 14 value to 15.5, like, yeah, we could not... We had our insane turn 1, it took Flick Knives, and our opponent just drew very well outside of that. It is unfortunate that we lost that game, but I'm not confused or surprised by it, I guess I should say. Syndra does not want to go first, even when she does get to push really good on hits. She does get out-tempoed. So I'm just sending, right? What am I concerned about with Brute? If I could set up an arsenal here, that would be pretty cool. But for the most part, I'm just looking to push damage. That's nice. So I get to go Ronin into Blaze. I'm not going to set up an arsenal. Now I'm just going to send this hand. Not arsenaling against Brute is not the worst thing in the world. Especially if we're getting armor on turn 0. I will flick, and I will use my vest here. If I get a flesh bag out of my opponent, it is worth using my vest, I guess prematurely. Like, it's fine, this is keeping my Mask of Momentum chain alive. But, like, the better way to sequence that would have been to flick on the brand chain link, just so that it is too late for my opponent to block with Flesh Bag. But doing it, I mean, this is fine. Syndra is literally a future ninja designed in the same world as Mask of Momentum. Mom is only good in red line decks, and red line decks have many weaknesses. They designed into Mom instead of away from it because it's fine. Mom encourages interaction, and her reliance on Mom is what gives her a weakness into stuff like Earth. Sid didn't care. Yeah, I think that it makes sense. What am I doing this turn? Brand, Fire Tenant Rising, Arsenal, Overcrowded? It makes sense that you are upset by Mask. It is difficult to play around, but I do think it's fine. Like, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything wrong with Mask of Momentum. It is on board, it is telegraphed. Yes, it's more difficult to play around from Syndra, but it's also pretty easy to understand what her turn cycle looks like. It's like, if you block on Chainlink 2, that's when she flicks. You block on Chainlink 3 to prevent the mask draw. There's also a skill in knowing when to not respect the mask and just let her have it. I mean, that might have been the mistake I made in the last game. Like, it's possible that I was just supposed to make her have it more often. I think I was supposed to flick there. I will flick here instead. So wrong with Mask of Momentum. It's a skill check. Yeah, 100% agree. Mask of Momentum is fine. What do you mean you don't have the D-React? I'm just going to Arsenal this Overcrowded. If it attacked for 3, I would have played it so that it couldn't just get covered by the Bonebreaker. It would have taken Bonebreaker and Leathers. All right, maybe Overcrowded is not good into Rhinar. Maybe I should not just have boarded for KO instead. What does this hand do? Maybe this hand just goes block, block, and I'm sad. Yeah, if these were throw daggers, that would be pretty good. All right, well, now I know that if KO's doing KO things, I need to, or if Rhinar is doing Rhinar things, I need to board differently. Yeah, I think it's an unfair permanent effect, super unfriendly mechanic. I have friends that they try the game, and they see things that are like, what? I mean, There are a lot of cards that you see them for the first time and they look broken. Like, that's just part of playing the game. I think that, respectfully, I think that you are perhaps, as you practice the Syndra matchup more, you will learn more about how to block Mask of Momentum triggers, how to ignore them, or that, yeah, it might just be an unforgiving meta. Like, depending on when you are you playing at Armories, or are you playing at ProQuest? If you're playing at more competitive events, if your deck loses to one of the top decks in the format, you do just need to be okay not playing that deck. Like, you need to accept that there are going to be decks that are just not good. If your deck loses to Cindra, if your deck loses to Verdance, Gravy, Florian, or even KO, there's a really good argument for just not playing it. I don't think this is a hand where I have to just, like, totally... The problem with this hand is it doesn't block. I will take the greedy line here. Dagger into Rabble. I will flick. We'll use my vest. Play Demonstrate. This probably just gets a flesh bag. And then we arsenal the Lava Burst. Yeah, we might just die here. Alright, I gotta board differently for Rhinar if I see one. Rhinar, I gotta bring in the D-Reacts. We definitely don't bring in Overcrowded, because Rhinar is never making tokens. Drew is definitely extremely strong, and Mask is a big part of that, but in the current Fab meta, it's not over the top. I played Syndra at an Armory yesterday for the first time, and it helped a lot in understanding her. The sticks on a BRB has gone, yeah. What does this hand do? This hand is very good if I don't need to block. I get to go Oath, Ignite, Dagger. I get to go Oath, Brand, Ignite, Breaking Point, Boots, Lava Burst. So I'm going to try not to block here as much as possible. It's possible I'm supposed to block with a Breaking Point just as soon as I can, in case it gets intimidated away. Swing big for 10. If you... Probably that. Yeah, we lost this one for sure. I'm gonna chalk that up to a boarding error. Please just reckless me. Wish I still had that breaking point. Or Mask. Kunai, that gets blocked, sure. Sending 8 more damage this turn. I don't need to flick here. Please reckless swing me. So we do want D-React in. Possibly throw Dagger. I'm gonna need to take a look at this one if I pair into another Rhinar. I'm not overly concerned about this matchup because I'm not expecting a ton of Rhinar. Okay. So 10-minute game, let's go. Yikers. That's pretty good. 18 damage Rhinar. Is that what the deck is supposed to do, or did I get high rolled? It's Holy Pharaoh. Okay, this one we can board for Florian. We know that. I can use an existing sideboard. Is there anything in here that seems better than what I was doing? I could play Shelters over damage. think the deck is fine. I just need to do my thing, which is going to be better than letting them do their thing. I don't think D reacts in. Yeah, I don't think I need to board differently for RKO than I would for like a Florian. I think it's fine. I'm actually not supposed to attack here. Although the fact that KO has not blocked with like a Fiddler's Green makes me think. No, we're done. We're closing the chain. We're backing out. I forgot we don't attack RKO on turn 0 because of like Fiddler's Green or Sirens of Safe Harbor. See, here we get blown out by letting them filter a card so that this Looking for Scrap can come in for 5. So that was a mistake. Yeah, we get immediately punished. 20 damage Rhinar, you can get stuck with them. That's the deck. Yeah. Blow for 3, make a Vigor. Yeah, we'll take 3, and we're just sending this whole hand. Where did you get the action point? From Mocking Blow. Oh, you rolled Scabs. Okay, that would be why. I'm like, wait, I missed something. Why is this happening to me? Let's go ahead and open with Brand. 6 on Scabs, yeah, that's where I'm like, okay. But you can see, and like, this is my experience with the matchup, is that the one thing I did on turn 0 cost me 4 damage, and they got an action point out of it. Like, yes, you need to, as I have learned, you need to just pass on RKO's turn 0. You're doing the effect. That means that I get to respond and flick to keep my chain alive. Now I'll play Blade's Headlong, which also demands a card. This Rhinar, sorry, I don't think the D reacts are the oh, yeah. You cover all this damage, that's okay. I'm just gonna send Burning Blade Dance, which kind of doesn't matter. Take that, I'll throw this dagger at you. I'll just rebuy my daggers. Close the combat chain, and then pass. Show strength for 9. Go again into Claw for 12. Alright, who was saying that RKO sucks? Who was saying that RKO can't beat Syndra? I disagree. I seem to be experiencing something different than what I was told would happen. I was told that I would run over RKO. What does this hand do? This hand does 3/3/4 Brand Flick Fire. That's fine. I love RKO. He seems good. Like, especially against other mid-range decks, into like a KO. He felt terrible. Like, playing the aggro deck, this hand does a lot of damage. This hand also can get screwed by Fleshbag. Nice. Instead, we can just be good at the game. So we get blocked here. I am now going to flick. I need to cheat a resource. This is a Draconic Link. So what I could do is send the Dragonfire here to threaten Mask of Momentum with the on Draconic effect, and then boots out my Brand. Because if I send this Brand with Cinderclaw, it's just 4. It gets covered by card and armor. Yeah, we're gonna send Dragonfire here. Because oh, oops, I cannot do that. I forgot that this is Fire Tenant and not Brand with Cinderclaw. Yeah, so this gets covered for 4. But I do get to send 7. Shoot KO. Buy back my dagger. Set up a 5-card hand. This hand is almost good. KO just coming in for 6 with the tunic. This hand is almost good, but instead it isn't. Okay, so if I manage to win against Dory with Gravy, I can be like, Gravy is good against Dory. Isn't Gravy good against Dory? I think we block with Oath. We take 3 here, and then we just send Ronin, Fire Tenant, Hot, Dragon Blood. Yep, Tunic Pitch. Take me to 15. Ronin for 3. That's fine. I don't have to care about Chain Link 1. Hot on their heels, so we get to send 3, 4, 4. KO could block with the armor. We get a sink. Now I flick. Do I want to cheat a resource here to buy back my daggers? I think the answer is yes. Because Art of Dragon Blood is not draconic. Get the tunic. Get my dagger. It's okay on a 2-card hand, no tunic, no vigor. Their options are a little limited, but it could also just be Swing Big or could be Sigil, Arsenal, Pass. The hand that we draw into is not a good hand of cards. If we had a fealty, this hand would be insane. Okay, send a dagger, pitch Dragon Blood. Hope that this hits. We're in. I do need to put a counter on this kunai. So what I need to do with this hand, unfortunately, because I would still like to trigger Mask of Momentum, is send the breaking point without its rupture. It is 5, it is draconic, I do get to Flight Path, but the effect of breaking point is not active because it's Chain Link 3. Lose that matchup in the Dory seat, you should not play Dory. I have no idea. Gravy players hate momentum, fork and kitchen. I'm not trolling, I'm just very critical of the game. I would like it to be better for players overall since the game is not as big as it could be. So we are getting, what's the new one that we're getting? Silver Age. That's going to be very good for new players. It's going to be very accessible. And they don't have to worry about Mask of Momentum. Take it on the chin. Okay. Yeah. Play Lava Burst. I get to flick. Buy back that 1 dagger. Okay, I've got something spicy. CNC for 6 go again is pretty spicy. You got it. That's pretty good. Pummel is going to be discard Lava Burst. There are multiple valid lines. Pitching for 2nd dagger is super valid here. Flipping through ProQuest. I'm not a Gravy player, but I know Dory destroys Gravy. I just haven't... We have 1 local Dory, and I just don't really see them that often. This is fine. Keeping the Lava Burst was potentially better. This just, I think, puts KO into weird positions. Oh, right. I need to flick here to eat up the take it on the chin prevention effect. Send another kunai. Now we get to send Burning Blade Dance. We have the Ancestral Empowerment, so I'm hoping this just gets covered for 3. I get to draw 2 cards. I get to flick this kunai so I can buy both of my daggers back. We will Ancestral. Trigger Mask. It's not great. Throw the kunai. So thinking about how am I going to threaten lethal here, I wish that I had a way to make this draconic, which means that I am just going to send the fire for 5. This gets a card. Okay. Syndra back my daggers. We're close. Take KO to 4. We're now at the point where I can block with Mask of Momentum and feel fine about it. Claw for 3, go again. We find Wrath of Retribution, which means that I get to do cool broken things. Which means I am blocking with Ancestral Empowerment. My turn, no. We're blocking with Momentum Ignite. Is it functionally a difference between 1 and 2 against RKO? I don't think there is. I mean, if there's a Reckless Swing, there's a Reckless Swing. And I think there are enough cards that KO is playing that are misses for Reckless Swing that it won't be Reckless Swing. But listen, if we get Reckless Swung here, like, damn, unlucky. As far as sequencing goes, we can lead with Ignite. I wish I had another Draconic attack in my hand. This is fine. Send a dagger here. If I had another Draconic attack so I could do Draconic, Ignite, Wrath for free, that would be pretty cool. I'm gonna do this wrong. All right, well, we just get there. I think I was applying the Ignite discount to the dagger and the Wrath, which is, of course, not how that works, but that's fine. Barely managed to get there. Attacking turn 0 almost lost us that game, honestly. Like, oh god, Katsu. This is a very bad matchup. We'll board for Syndra. So Katsu is an interesting deck because it is not the best aggro deck in the format, but it's one of the best aggro decks into other aggro decks, which is always an important thing to care about. Like, Katsu's not going to beat Verns or Florian as well as Syndra will. Get the Trick Steal 2, why not discount 2? I just sequenced that turn wrong, honestly. This is the matchup I had in the finals of my first Pro Quest. Yeah, it's not good. Like, Katsu and Dash.io are 2 decks that I would say are not in that, like, S tier of the format. But when you pair them against other aggro decks, they get much better. Katsu has a harder time against the Earth Heroes than Syndra does. I believe Katsu has a harder time against Gravy than Syndra does. KO has a better time against Katsu than KO has against Syndra. But when you pair them against aggro decks, like, Syndra does not want to block and does not have good armor for blocking. Which means that Katsu is just going to dump on me. Trace the Past, you're just putting this in graveyard. I'm going to block for 3. I want to save my 1 cost so I can get value for my vest. I also want to start making fealty. The Syndra games where I have fealty versus not are always much better when I have fealty. It just lets us cheat out damage and dagger rebuys that we shouldn't be able to. So here I get to go Brand into Fire Tenant into Demonstrate for 5. 2 days in a row. Yeah, so I have Friday. I am unavailable every other Friday morning, which means that, yeah, I'm trying to, the Fridays that I do have free, I want to do bonus streams. And I want my bonus streams to be a little more fun. Like, I'm not super trying to, like, try hard with Cindra, but I have my first Pro Quest tomorrow, and I'm a little unfamiliar with this list. So I do want to get some more reps with it now, just to, like, work on sequencing stuff. A competitive area too, multiple calling winners, top PT players, etc. Fraser, it sounds like your meta is a lot like our meta, where we just have really good players. Like, everyone is just consistently very strong. Multiple battle-hardened winners, top 8 winners. Calling top 8s. We play with the US National Champion 2025. So as you can imagine, things can get a little difficult. Stream Archaeo next Friday stream? I want to, yeah. So it would be 2 weeks from today. Yeah, I want to start getting reps with Archaeo. It's a cool deck. I like the deck a lot. It does cool things. It's very strong. It has really cool turn cycles. It just, yeah, it has the unfortunate downside of losing to certain meta decks. Flick Flack, dang, we should have sent Demo Devo. I probably should have considered that, honestly. I do not need a stain counter. Now the upside here is we're going to get another card out of Katsu to block this Demo Devo, and the Flick Flack is not getting full value. All right, here it feels like the hyperbolic time chamber of Fab. It's so true. Like, if you are a new player and you're consistently coming to armories and showing up to big events, you're going to get so good at the game so fast. Because everyone in our area is just a monster. We have so many monstrous players in Northern California. I want to say sharks, like we're swimming in a pool of sharks, just not with a negative connotation where we're cheating, because we're not doing that. That's fine. Double D react. Unfortunate. We don't get there. Which means that we were supposed to send the Demo Devo on that chain link. This hand is potentially good for Triggering Mask. Ignite Dagger, Fire Tenant Ronin. Just play out this hand. Katsu's graveyard so far is just Retrace, so I'm not blocking. He's on links, not momentum, so I just get to value block, which means that I'm probably never blocking because that's not what my deck does. And Lupinefiasco is a shark confirmed? No. We have most of Team Ascent here to worry about, including Mercy, World Championship finalist. Yep, Mercy is a machine. Mercy's a beast. If Mercy's there, it means you're, I assume, also playing with Brian Lorenz, who is also a machine. Guess wait for 3, go again. Got yourself a deal pitching a red. I should do regional leaderboards like they did for Worlds. It'd be interesting. I would love to see more like leaderboard stuff, more rankings. Hopefully that's what we're doing with whatever replaces Ailio. Into just Natty Bonds, into Retrace, into, I don't know, Break Your Mask. That's fine. Like, I guess if this is, I don't know enough about Katsu to know, like, if this is the mask turn, am I afraid of that? It's just Retrace for 4, or for 2? Okay, I don't know. Okay. If I lose this game, it's because I don't know what Katsu does. And honestly, I don't feel bad about it. I was not trolling, by the way. I just like that and pricing of the game. Yeah, I know the pricing of the game I think has gotten a little better with this set. Like Earth Heroes are now affordable because you can buy a playset of Fellings and Plows for what used to be the cost of a single Felling. It's valid to have opinions of the game. I disagree with your opinion about Mask of Momentum. I don't think it's nearly as bad as you think it is. But absolutely, you're allowed to have your opinion. Like, totally, 100%. There's nothing wrong with that. Chainlink 2 gets blocked, so we reset the Mask of Momentum chain, which means we're probably going to get more armor on this kunai, but this kunai means I get to flick this kunai. What I could do is send the Fire Tenant here and just like ignore the effect from Ignite. That's kind of interesting. Is that good? I send 3 here, I get a real card, I flick. I send 4 here, I get a defense reaction. Let's do that. Which means that maybe I wasn't supposed to attack with the second Ignite. Fire Tenant into Ronin. Did you give me a 3 block? Oh, you just have a D react. Flick here for my value. I do not need to vest. Chat, is it good when my opponent has a D react in every hand they've seen so far? What does this hand do? This hand can do things that I want a hand to do. Let's say that. Surging Strike. We're not blocking this. With 3 cards, if this is a 0 cost, and this gets you the Whelming, I can consider blocking that Whelming when there's nothing else on board that I have to worry about. But I'm definitely not blocking the Surging. When I see leaderboards, I would love if maps displayed regions where county is evenly displayed. Then I want to see what region has the best placing. Alright, here's Whelming for 4 go again. Breaking Scales makes it 5. What if I just disrespected this? The problem is that this hand does not play it. Let's do this. This is fine. If you're going to use Breaking Scales on this, that's fine. I get it out of the way. This hand doesn't play 2 1 costs very well. I can pitch one for a dagger. That just isn't a line I want to take. Here we get Breaking Scales for them to draw a random card off the top of their deck. Katsu decks can really lean quite defensive these days. 9 reacts is fairly common. Yeah. I suppose that's true. They just run the risk of drawing multiple D-reacts in the same hand and not being able to convert offensively. The opponent either just hopefully whiffs. So I get an arsenal, so it is something relevant. I get to send 3/3/4 with a vest activation. Make another fealty. Flick vest. Demo Devo, please give me real cards. My dagger back. Do I hear a Bunsworth? He's around. He's here. The D-React can discard to his abilities, so are slightly less risky. This hand says I am taking all of your damage. Because this hand goes Resentment, Fealty, Rabble, Wrath, Dagger, Dagger, Flight Path, Dagger, Flick, Fealty, Scale, which is pretty cool. So hopefully the Katsu doesn't just kill me. Hi Black Ace, happy Friday. Even bigger than that? Oh my god. I know they're playing it. Like, I remember from the olden days, the days of old, the days of yore. But, yeah, I guess I should have given my blood splattered here. Opt 3, reveal the top card. If it has power greater, you get a Surging Strike. Just play a second one? Okay. I guess I really should have blocked that Kodachi. Oh my god. Why was I going to block the second Kodachi? So I guess it gets through either way. Wouldn't Wrath still cost 1 in that situation? Oh, that's true. So I have to, okay, so I do have to flick. Yeah, you're right. I always forget Wrath is not as good as I want it to be. Guess I could do Rising, Fealty, Rabble, Flick, Vest, Fealty, Scale. Actually, just Arsenal Wrath. Like, depending on how they block, I can either Flight Path, deal a bunch more damage, or like just Arsenal Wrath instead of the 5 card. Yeah, so we're not blocking here. What did you get? You got a Surging Strike and 100 wins, which means you break the cross wrap. Surging Strike for 4, go again. You discard. Yeah, we're just taking the damage. Like, maybe this is too risky and I am supposed to block the Surging Strike so they don't just Pouncing Links Katsu. Like, you find Gust Wave. Depends on what this is. Wouldn't Wrath still cost 1? Yeah. Wrath is never as good as I want it to be. It's never just broken. Find the bonds. Oh, you mask for yellow Gust Wave. This attacks if a card with Gust Wave. Why not start with Draconic Rabble? Discount the 5 power with Rising Resentment, probably. Yeah, I suppose that would work. Because I'm thinking about how to best do Mask of Momentum, which usually involves ascending in power, so 3, 4, 5. Says that if your opponent... What is this? Did you check with the last? It gets +2. 5 go again. Into bonds, into retrace, into... I don't know. Into salt, into some nonsense. What does retrace do? Card with Gust Wave. Okay, so you don't get to do that? Yes, Saran, to answer your question, I could do that. I could Fealty Rabble Rising. If the Rising hits, I go Dragon Scale. I discount Dragon Scale. Play. That's, you know what? You're right. We are going to do that. Fluster Fist, Kadachi. Puts me to 9. This puts me to 1. Can I get Kadachi locked? Oh, this has go again. I don't get to keep my nuts hand. I could have blocked this turn much better than I actually did. I need to block with... I do need to block this so that Pouncing Links doesn't just get turned into... Katsu lose all his retrace? He should still have 1. What does this get turned into? What 2 power does this get turned into? Show me. Show me what 2 power you have in your deck that I need to care about. Oh, it's just salt. Okay, sure. Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's reasonable. My god. I have played this game so poorly. Scale doesn't break anything now. Salt, yeah, it does just grab salt. I mean, this hand, at this point, this hand just doesn't do anything. I even need to give Vest here. block with Wrath. Not block with Wrath, block with Scale. Go to 1. My turn is Fealty. It's Resentment, Fealty, Rabble, Flick, Vest, Wrath. So I get to do 3, 7, 10, 11, 13, 15, 17. Sure. Wasn't Wrath for Retrace plus combo with Fluster better? I don't know. I guess I can still do this line. Send the Rabble first, then the Resentment. If the Resentment doesn't get blocked, I discount Wrath. If it does get blocked, I flick Resource. Send the Resentment for 3, go again. Hopefully this makes it through. If it doesn't, I have a way out. It does get blocked, which means I flick, I vest, oh, you're right, I can't banish Wrath because it costs 3. So true. It only costs 0 after discounts. Well, Katsu's blocking, which is pretty cool. So we get to go Dagger into Boots, into Dagger, into Syndra, into Dagger. So I'm going down. I will start my next turn without daggers. What I am expecting from Katsu is Kadachi, which I can block with Mask and a card from hand. I can also block with Mask and Flick. Just depends on what this looks like. Oh, and the Kadachi doesn't have Go again? Oh my gosh. So we get to do Rising Resentment, Burning Blade Dance. I can Ancestral one of those. I can Fealty Cut Through to buy back my daggers, which I can then flick to turn on the Cut Through. Yeah, we are up tremendous. They have you Kadachi locked. Imagine it's a blue. Imagine it wasn't a blue. But even if it is, I can block with Flick Knives. Like, I'm at the point in the game where I can block with Flick Knives and it's fine. I am going to Ancestral here. Not that this on-hit matters, I just want to know what the rest of my turn looks like. Display Loyalty. Bank a Fealty, because why not? I'll get to play Burning Blade Dance, pick up my daggers. The reason I couldn't save the Ancestral for Burning Blade is I didn't have my 3rd Draconic Link yet. So I would not have been able to pick up to flick with Burning Blade if I get the on-hit. And I also can't Fealty Cut Through to pick up to turn on Cut Through. But now Burning Blade Dance is active, so if you give me another 2 block, I get to Cindra, pick up both daggers, immediately throw 1, get in for 2, play Cut Through. I think we're gonna get there. I think we're doing it after taking that insane turn. That's fine. I don't need to Syndra yet. I also don't need to Fealty here. You just Cut Through, which you have to respect. I'm going to Syndra, put you to 1, and then you're just dead to Flick Knives. How many shelters has our opponent seen? You've seen 2 shelters? Oh, this hand's just nuts. Okay. Nice one, tricky matchup. It was close. And I think going down to 0 daggers was the correct line there. Going down to 0 daggers so that I wouldn't feel bad blocking with flick knives, but also, like, I live and die by this next hand. I don't have a way to cheat out both of these finishers. But what I will get to do, potentially, is, like, ignite into dagger, into display, flick, Syndra, buy back both the daggers, pitch scale to send a dagger. Good job playing to the outs. Thank you. I felt like I played this one, despite not knowing what Katsu does and probably blocking pretty poorly around his big turn. Do feel like we managed to outplay. Flick the kunai, and we get there. Routine 7 off that 26 damage turn, that was pretty wild. And the good games. Pretty wild, we barely got there. Interested to see which Katsu version comes out on top. I still prefer Edge of Autumn a fair bit. It does seem like it has a higher ceiling for sure. The arms are just so good. Well, I've been streaming for over 2 hours. I think I'm going to call it here. Thank you all for joining me. Let me do my last little shout-outs. We'll go ahead and command deck. You can see what I was playing. Give you Hemmel's contact information if you want to play this deck in paper, but maybe you don't own all the cards. Hemmel at Hammurabi TCG is the absolute cheapest vendor I've ever found. He buys all of this stuff individually. You know, he buys directly from distributors. He's not associated with any big stores. Consistently charges lower than TCG Low. Consistently charges lower than other vendors in the market. I buy everything of mine from Hemmel. He's a great guy, really easy to work with. International and domestic shipping from the US. And give you a final shout out for the data command. I'm now sponsored by Fablazing.com, which is where I find all of my data. I don't have anecdotal evidence for every matchup that I play. I haven't played every matchup. So if I'm ever looking for what is Cindra's win rate into RKO, I don't have like my internal heuristic of, oh, I think I'm about this % into RKO as Cindra. So I'm going to board based on that. I'm going to prepare for RKO specifically based on the fact that I'm 60%. So if I look up KO underhanded cheat using Talishar data, then I can see that I am 61.6% favored into RKO, which means I'm not going to respect this. I'm not going to build my deck differently for it. But if I instead look at the data for Verdance, then I can tell you that I am, in fact, also, there's no way. I'm not 57.6%, but that's where the anecdotal data comes in. If I say, well, internally, my Syndra testing is much worse than that. So those are my plugs. Thank you all for being here. I am intending to stream again on Monday. Probably not playing Syndra again. Possibly. We'll see. Join my Discord. You can vote on the deck that I'm playing next. I think it'll probably be Slippy, just so I can stay up to date with what Slippies are doing, despite not being a very good deck after Bonds. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for chatting. It was awesome getting to hang out with you all. And until the next time I see everyone, good luck in your Pro Quest this weekend, unless you're playing against me, in which case bad luck in your Pro Quest this weekend, and take care.